Ugly Stepsister 2025 is a haunting reimagining of the classic Cinderella fairy tale, told through the lens of horror, body transformation, and psychological trauma. The story follows Rebecca, a widow with two daughters, Elvira and Alma. Seeking stability, she marries a widower who also has a daughter, the beautiful and arrogant Agnes. When the new husband dies penniless, Rebecca's dream of security collapses. Desperate to regain status, she becomes obsessed with transforming Elvira, the ugly stepsister, into a vision of perfection worthy of the Prince Julian. Elvira is pushed through brutal and grotesque procedures, cosmetic surgeries, starvation, even a tapeworm diet, all in the pursuit of beauty and acceptance. Her body becomes a battlefield, her soul a casualty of her mother's ambition. As the royal ball approaches, her transformation spirals into horror, leading to a tragic and unsettling confrontation with what it truly means to be beautiful. The film blends dark fairy tale aesthetics with psychological body horror, creating a disturbing yet strangely poetic experience. Themes and philosophy. At its core, The Ugly Stepsister is about the violence of beauty standards, how society turns self-improvement into self-destruction. It portrays beauty as oppression, a weapon wielded by culture, class, and patriarchy. Elvira's suffering isn't just physical, it's symbolic of every person who has ever been told they must change to be worthy of love or belonging. The film also explores the gaze of society, how women are conditioned to seek validation through how they appear, not who they are. The mother, Rebecca, is both victim and enforcer of this system. Her obsession with Elvira's beauty is rooted in fear of poverty, rejection, and irrelevance. Beneath the surface, the story becomes a reflection on identity and loss of self. Elvira's physical mutilations mirror the internal erosion of her identity. The surgeries, the starvation, the cutting, all serve as dark metaphors for the emotional cost of conformity. Every symbol, the tapeworm, the surgical scars, the rotting corpse of the father, the slipper that doesn't fit, speaks to one truth: perfection always demands a sacrifice. Psychological and horror dimensions. Psychologically, the film dives deep into the inner torment of its characters. Elvira represents the individual crushed between authenticity and approval. Her every act of transformation is a cry for love, from her mother, from society, from herself. Yet the more she changes, the less human she becomes. Rebecca, the mother, is trapped in her own trauma. She projects her fears onto her daughter, believing that control and beauty can protect them from ruin. Her cruelty is not born from hatred, but from desperation, a generational curse disguised as care. Agnes, the stepsister, becomes the mirror Elvira can never escape, embodying everything Elvira longs to be, and everything that destroys her. The horror in this film is not supernatural. It's human. It lives in the surgeries, the diets, the comparisons, the endless hunger to be enough. The film's grotesque imagery, from the blood-soaked beauty rituals to the disfigured faces, forces viewers to confront what they usually ignore: that beauty itself can be a form of violence. The tone is deliberately uncomfortable, making the audience feel the pain they normally consume passively in glossy images and fairy tales. Audience reception and box office. The Ugly Stepsister premiered on the International Film Festival circuit to strong acclaim. Critics praised its originality, its feminist lens, and its fearless depiction of body horror. Many called it a modern counterpart to Black Swan or The Neon Demon, a film that unsettles as much as it enlightens. Audiences were sharply divided. Some found it profound and emotionally devastating. Others called it unbearable to watch. There were reports of viewers walking out during the more graphic scenes, yet even its harshest critics admitted the film was unforgettable. Financially, it performed modestly, earning back roughly its small production budget through theatrical and streaming releases. But artistically, it became one of the most talked-about indie horror films of the year, praised for turning a fairy tale into a mirror, reflecting our society's obsession with appearance. Key takeaways and moral insights. Beauty always comes at a price. The film exposes the unseen pain behind perfection and challenges the lie that beauty is effortless. Society creates monsters and then blames them. The system that punishes ugly women is the same one that drives them to destroy themselves to fit in. Mothers pass down what the world teaches them. Rebecca's cruelty is inherited, a cycle of fear, shame, and pressure that only ends when Elvira walks away. Escaping the system is the true victory. The film's ending, with Elvira leaving behind her mother and the prince, suggests that freedom comes not from being chosen, but from choosing yourself. Fairy tales hide the real horror. By showing the violence we ignore in traditional stories, The Ugly Stepsister reveals that the darkest monsters are not witches or curses. They are our own ideals. Conclusion: The Ugly Stepsister is not just a horror film, it's a mirror held up to a world obsessed with surface perfection. It asks a simple, brutal question. How much of yourself are you willing to cut away to be loved? Through its grotesque imagery, psychological realism, and haunting performances, it transforms a childhood fairy tale into a tragic reflection on identity, control, and the unbearable cost of beauty. It's disturbing, yes, but that's the point, because sometimes to tell the truth about the world, a story has to bleed.